It's Friday, and it just got freakier. Twice the thrills, twice the action, twice the laughs, and twice the body switch-ups. Okay, so Freakier Friday stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, Julia Butters, and Sophie Hammonds, and has a female director at the helm, Nisha Ganatra. This is the sequel to the original Freaky Friday, which came out in 2003 and was honestly an all-time favorite of mine growing up. I was a son who enjoyed watching all of the chick flicks or the rom-coms, the movies my mom wanted to watch that no one else wanted to watch. I was actually excited to see a sequel with the original cast back. At the beginning of this movie, Lindsay Lohan is the parent of a teenager named Harper and has recently just fallen in love and decided to get married, but unfortunately for her daughter Harper, the man that she's choosing is the parent of Harper's arch nemesis, Lily. Now they're trying to blend their families, and with the threat of moving to London, where the other father and daughter are from, Jamie Lee Curtis may actually lose her family. But thanks to a psychic visit, all four of the women in the film end up switching bodies. The daughters become the adults, and the adults become the daughters, and chaos and comedy fun ensues from here. Lessons are learned, perspectives are changed, and thus we have a sequel, Freakier Friday. First off, I'm really glad this wasn't a direct-to-streaming Disney Plus exclusive, and that it actually got a theatrical run first, because this really was reminiscent of that mid-2000s, mid-budget, classic comedy kind of feel. And movies like the original Freaky Friday aren't really commonly put into theaters anymore. And secondly to that, it also felt like a theatrical film. You know, sometimes those direct-to-streaming movies just have this almost made-for-TV feel to them, and this didn't have that. So it was great seeing it in a theater and hearing all the laughter, because it was a relatively full crowd on a pretty late Thursday night showing. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan just looked like they were having a total blast on screen, which their chemistry and the fun they were having is just infectious. Like, it makes you smile watching it. In fact, it seemed like the whole cast was having a lot of fun. I thought the two daughters fit in really well. All of the side characters and recurring characters from the initial one, they all seemed like they were having a good time on screen in this nearly overcrowded film. And this movie does have a lot going on. There are a lot of subplots. There are, four characters that switch bodies, and so all four of them need to have character arcs and lessons that they have to learn. So naturally, the plot does at times teeter on becoming a little bit tedious because it's juggling so many plot lines, and as an audience member you have to solve those plot lines. But I think it walks that line very finely. Every time a scene feels like it could potentially start to bog the movie down, it does course correct and it keeps the momentum going. The movie has a really fast pace and it just keeps us chugging along through the different set pieces. And those set pieces offered new opportunities for slapstick humor, which I love about this movie. I think it leans into its cartoony style of humor very well. That's kind of what I sign up for when I'm seeing it. I want it to be a little over the top. I want it to be a little ridiculous. This movie offered a lot of really ridiculous, anxious-filled kind of scenarios that make you chuckle and kind of on the edge of your seat at the same time. And so for the most part, this movie was really fun. I think my major two criticisms were, one, the husband, played by Manny Jacinto. It's not that I don't like him, and I think that there were moments he was decent, but for the most part, it was the writing of it and the way he was portrayed. He just wasn't that likable. And that was something that became a disconnect for me, because we're supposed to be rooting for him and Lindsay Lohan to stay together, but the kids kind of want to separate them so that they can have their own lives. So as an audience, we should have full buy-in to him and Lindsay Lohan's relationship, and I never really did. My other, I would say, minor criticism, whenever we're with the two daughters, which are really, supposed to be the adults in their bodies, those scenes felt like there wasn't a lot of motivation behind them, because the plot was just much more focused on the daughter's character motivations, which were inside of the adults. So whatever the adults were doing had much more stakes and priority in the story, and what the daughters were doing sometimes felt like, oh, let's go watch them eat fast food or repeat scenes from the first movie, and that was the only time where the movie just sometimes got a little tired. But like I said, it moves through it very quickly, and so you're able to kind of just snap back and have a good time. It does prioritize the right things. Now, I don't want that to be a criticism towards either of the two actresses that play the daughters, because I actually thought they did a phenomenal job. Their best scenes were the ones that involved all four of them together, and you see the daughters like trying to parent the adults. And those scenes are just really funny to have like the daughter saying, "Oh, honey," like to their adult mom or grandma. I thought that was fun. For as big as the plot was and as overcrowded as it could have been, I think the movie actually juggled it all very well. It had a good pacing, a good momentum, a satisfying finale. I know there's moments of just pure nostalgia for me that I really loved, and just a lot of laugh out loud moments. Jamie Lee Curtis in particular is just so funny when she's playing like a teenager. She's really good, and I think she's great in this. But it was fun. I loved it. I'm going to give this 7.5 out of 10 crystal balls. That's my rating scale. All right, what did you guys think of Freakier Friday? Let me know in the comments below. I also saw this in a double feature with The Naked Gun. I finally got around to seeing it. So stick around for my review later today of The Naked Gun. Also, like, subscribe, comment, and I love you guys.